Alright, this is John Cola with OKRaw.com today with another exciting episode for you, and today we're going to do another restaurant review for you guys. I travel so much, I think I'm actually traveling more this month than actually that I'm home, and as such I try to eat out whenever I can, and normally that means going to farmers markets, going to farms, going to the grocery store, and even going to Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and buying produce there and just eating it. But of course, sometimes for fun, I like to come out and hit up some raw food restaurants and share those with you guys and share how the food is, so you guys don't waste your money and you guys don't get had by eating at a raw food restaurant that may not be so good. So anyways, where I'm at today, I'm here in Plantation, Florida, and I'm gonna eat at the Green Wave Cafe. I have eaten here maybe 3 times previously. I don't know if I made a video or not, but I thought I'd make a new video, or make a video for the first time if I haven't already, at the Green Wave here in Plantation, Florida. Anyway, let's go head up to the front door. We'll share with you guys the hours and a little bit more about the Green Wave. So now we're at the Green Wave Cafe, and they do a few more things than just having a cafe here. You can come here and eat like I am today. They're open pretty much every day from 11:30 to 9, except for Sundays when they're open from 11:30 to 4 p.m. So aside from coming here to eat, you could actually buy their meal program, so you get meals, and you can come up pick up a bunch of meals to eat. Also, I believe, they used to in the past at a farmer's market, so you guys can buy organic produce and other stuff here. Anyways, let's go ahead and head inside. We'll show you guys the decor, and I'm gonna get to ordering some food. So now I'm inside the Green Wave Cafe, and this is reminds me of a little diner out of the 50s or something. There's a little bar here that you could actually sit at, and then they have just some seating in here. And in addition, besides just being able to eat at that cafe, they also have a little display case that I'll show you guys in a second, where they get organic produce. That they'll sell you guys organic produce, because organic produce can be difficult to find here in South Florida. And then also they have a lot of different packaged and prepared foods. So I think maybe I'll show you guys that next, and then I'm actually gonna go ahead and sit down and order some food for tonight. So aside from just eating here at that cafe, unlike many other cafes I've visited, actually you could come here and buy your organic produce. And if you don't want to buy your organic produce, which the prices compared to what I know in California, it's a bit more expensive, but we gotta remember that this is South Florida. Everything's kind of more expensive here. And then over on this side, they got lots of different to-go things. So they got hummus to go, crackers to go, different cheesecakes and brownie bites to go, and they got these really cool chocolate delight pies. You could all just grab and go if you don't have time to eat here. Also, they can prepare things in advance if you call them up, and then you could actually just pick it up and then take it to go, or you could actually come here and order it to go. I decided I'm gonna eat here tonight. So how this works, if you wanna eat here, you wanna just have a seat, they're gonna come to you, and you can look at the menu and they're gonna take your order. So actually, let's go ahead and sit down. I'm gonna share with you guys the menu here, and then I'm gonna finally get to order and eat some food, because I'm so hungry tonight. So now I'm seated, and I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys a little menu here that's pretty much on every table. So you can just come in, sit down, take a look at the menu, and they're gonna come over and order for you. Looks like they got appetizers and specialty salads, which is all a la carte. And they run anywhere from, I don't know, $6 for a house salad, all the way up to maybe $12.75 for salsa chips and guacamole. What looks good to me actually is a super nachos for $12.50. Let's see, and everything here is raw except maybe for the soup that's been heated, and the soup is on here also. And then getting down to the entrees, so these are the main dishes that you'd probably want to get. They got things like veggie sandwiches, famous hummus open sandwich, American burger, cheeseburger, lettuce boat, tacos, burrito fiesta, Philly cheesesteak, tuna melt, pizza, steak teriyaki, falafel, coconut curry. They all range in price. I mean, pretty much most of them are $14.50, and the spicy cheeseburger is $17, but just the standard cheeseburger is $14.50. So that's all about $14.50. Now they all come with a little small side salad, and on the side salad, they all have oil-based dressings. And one of the things that I, don't really do too often is actually eat an oil-based dressing, because you can get a lot of calories from fat very quickly. And I don't eat oil-based dressings at home either. So when I go out to restaurants, I try to not eat that either. So I asked them hey, do you have any alternatives to the oil-based dressings? And they didn't. So hopefully one day maybe they'll have some kind of nut-based dressing. So blend some orange juice with almonds, or orange juice and macadamia nuts, right? Makes an amazing dressing without oil, so you could eat lower calories and more phytonutrients and phytochemicals and different properties from the nuts or the seeds. Actually, I like to do like maybe a little bit of flax seeds, almonds, and orange juice blended up. That's going to help balance out the omega-3 to 6s from the flax. So the reason why I say this is because you could get a plain salad with lemon juice, but to me that's like really boring. And then I found out another option is just get it without the side salad, and you're gonna save $2 because I'm all about being cheap. So now I got the entrees down to like $12.50 without the side salad. So that was really cool. On the back here they got different add-ons and kids menu. It's like $8 for mac and cheese for the kids. They got desserts. $5 for ice cream to $10 to $12 a cheesecake, and they got different drinks including wheatgrass shots, green drinks, and fruit smoothies, and OJ and almond milk, all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean, this menu looks pretty good. Looks like a pretty much standard raw food menu. I think what I'm gonna get tonight is the cheeseburger, since that's one of the most popular things they got. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to tell you guys don't know what you want, just come up to the bar and just talk to them a little bit. More likely than not, this is really cool. They'll offer you some free samples of some onion bread or some other things. I mean, the last couple of trips I've been here, I go up to the counter, kind of like act indecisive, because I am. And they're like, well, hey, try this or try this. They'll kind of get me ideas on what I should get and actually how good the food is. And actually, I sampled the onion bread tonight. It was actually quite good. Then I was asking them about the burrito fiesta, and they gave me a sample of the raw burrito wrap, which is based on, I think, maybe avocados and peppers, which is actually quite good. I just have the wrap only, but I like the onion bread more than the burrito wrap. But I decided upon the cheeseburger, which I believe does actually, or can come on the onion bread. Anyways, let's go ahead and wait and see how long it takes for my food to come out. All right, so as I'm waiting here, we got some water. So it's nice that they actually filter their water here, and that's very important. I encourage you guys always to drink filtered water, especially from water from the tap. Definitely not too good these days. Chlorine, chloramine definitely may negatively impact your health and your beneficial microbiome inside you. And even worse, in many places these days, especially here in South Florida, is they add fluoride to the water, which in my opinion will make you stupid. So I'm glad that they filter the water and have filtered water here. And I would definitely encourage you guys to stay hydrated, especially when eating out at raw food restaurants, that many of which tend to focus on dehydrated foods, which will dehydrate you. And we need to stay at proper hydration levels. And it's definitely really important to drink some water and stay hydrated when eating some dehydrated food. All right, so now my food came out, and this is what we got here. It actually comes with a little top to kind of keep the bugs off and keep it fresh, so that's kind of nice. And here it is right here. This is the cheeseburger, and it looks like it came on that onion bread that I really liked a lot, that I got to sample. And they got like this nice sauce on there, and there was some marinated mushrooms, some tomatoes, and a nice burger patty made from vegetables. Oh, and it's got a really nice touch as the sunflower sprouts on top, as well as some shredded lettuce. To me, this looks pretty concentrated, but hey, I don't come out to raw food restaurants to eat a salad because I can eat at home. I come out for some good stuff like this, although I do wish that maybe they packed inside of the burger with maybe more like fresh stuff, like maybe some like more sprouts, and like make it really bulging so it's nice and big. And maybe it'd be nice also maybe to decorate the plate. It looks pretty plain, but hey, you know what? As long as it tastes good, I'll be all right. So now we're gonna go ahead and try the burger here. Bottoms up. Definitely a good solid burger. I mean, I think most recently I ate out at a raw food restaurant in Los Angeles. It was definitely more flavorful there, but this is a good solid. I mean, it just tastes good. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this stuff off. We'll come back at you with my review on this, and then maybe I'm gonna order something else, because this is not enough to fill me. So as you guys can see, I got done with that entire cheeseburger. And let's see, before I let you guys know how it is, I want to share with you guys a few other things about the cafe that I liked. Number one is the service. The service was amazing. You know, all the wait staff and all the people working here, just really nice and pleasant and friendly. Also, the food came out relatively quick. I mean, it's a pretty quiet night tonight, but it came out relatively quick. Oh, another thing I really like a lot that I think more restaurants should do, they got like really cool, like, you know, books on the tables here. This is like The Joys of Friendship, and this is like Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And it's all small stuff. And so that, you know, this could fill your mind with, you know, good thoughts and good positive thoughts, and, you know, reaffirming like good things that we should learn in life. And I think, you know, being a captive audience, especially if it's a busy night, you know, reading some good books to fill your mind with some good information is really good, because besides just feeding you physically here, they're going to feed your mind. And in some cases, that's even more important than the food you eat, what you put in to your consciousness, and more importantly, your subconscious. So I guess, yeah, so now I'll share with you guys what I thought of the burger. You know, in the beginning, I really like the burger. Was like, okay, this is a good solid burger. And then finally, when I was getting down to the end, it was like getting like a little bit dry for me, and like the burger itself was like a really thick, like nut pate. And I was just wishing that it had like more vegetables in there, like maybe some cut up, or, you know, pieces of, I don't know, even onions or bell peppers that when I crunched into, instead of just being a really thick and dense nut pate, it was just like more full of life, full of vegetables and things that crunch. I know celery, like chopped celery, would be an excellent addition added into the patty mixture, whether it's, you know, when they make it or even afterwards, just press celery in to the burger, you know, as they put it into the patty itself. So that'd be really good. Let's see, then after hanging out for a little while, like that totally didn't fill me up, and after hanging out for a while, I noticed like my mouth ran out of saliva. So that means like it's you know, fairly well salted. I want to encourage all restaurants to maybe reduce the amount of salt. I know, you know, it's a big crutch for many people, and most Americans are used to eating lots of salt. I mean, I'm been on a raw foods diet now for 21 years, so like I'm not the average customer off the street that may be just coming from McDonald's their meal before, which this place is astronomically and probably the healthiest, one of the healthiest places you could eat here in South Florida. But for me, like, I really want to minimize the amount of salt that I'm eating and have the foods be flavored by the foods themselves, and growing high quality, nutrient dense foods that I, you know, grow in my backyard. So anyways, I was still hungry, so then I ordered something else, and now what I got is the pizza. So the presentation on the pizza, as you guys can see, man, it's like much nicer looking than the cheeseburger. Like, it looks like, you know, a lot more vegetables, so I'm glad. You know, they got like fresh cabbage, you know, carrots, they got a bell pepper here, and sunflower greens on the top. So that looks really good. Plus they got a special pizza bread. I think it's made out of like maybe like almond meal after they make the almond milk, and then they use some kind of salsa, they marinara, they dehydrate it. Then on top they got like a nut cheese, a marinara sauce, and then they got like some kind of like dehydrated, I don't know, other stuff. I don't know exactly what it is. Some marinated mushrooms, all kinds of good stuff. Pizza has traditionally been one of my favorite raw food items to get, and when I'm home, normally I'll make raw food pizza with my girlfriend, usually at least once a week, and I'll make my own crusts. So this is going to be definitely a tough time, you know, to compare this to, because I've had a lot of raw pizzas in my time. So let's go ahead and take a bite right now. So first thing, as I picked this up, I could notice the crust is not like super hard. I think like the last raw food pizza I had, the crust was like super hard. And I mean, pizza crust shouldn't be super hard. It should be a little bit moist, right? Biting into this, like the marinara sauce, like there's an air of freshness to it. I think I'm just already liking this a bit more than the cheeseburger that was like a little bit more dense. At least it's more light and airy. So we're gonna go ahead and eat my pizza, and we'll come back at you with what I think. All right, so I just got done with that pizza. Definitely took me a while to eat, and I want to encourage you guys, actually, when you guys eat out, take your time eating. Don't like just try to like, oh, I got the pizza, I got to like eat it and get out of here in 5 minutes. You know, I've already been here like 2 hours, like eating and talking and just hanging out and stuff. And they got free Wi-Fi too, which is nice. But yeah, and here's the thing. So ate the whole pizza, and I have to say, like, it looked really good, right? And that's maybe kind of like where it ended for me. Like, it just wasn't like one of the best pizzas I've ever had. And actually in my mouth right now, maybe it's probably partly the sunflower greens that I had, but also like the crust actually, you know, I think it's made with like almond meal. It's kind of drying in my mouth, and I'm just kind of like, and probably also maybe a little bit of salt in there too, so my mouth is really dry, so I'm like drinking like lots of fluids. So yeah, the pizza, that's not like a really winner for me. I think actually I like the cheeseburger. Basically, here's my synopsis. Like, you know, when I got into raw foods back in 1995, there wasn't a whole lot of raw food cookbooks. Like, there were some cookbooks by like Ann Wigmore and like Nomi Shannon, the Raw Gourmet, just came out with her cookbook. Like, the food here reminds me of like circa 1995 raw foods, like Ann Wigmore style, with like, you know, nut and seed pâtés and stuff, and like pretty dense, you know, and some oil in some of the ingredients, and, you know, sea salt and whatnot. I mean, it's definitely good for what it is, but I've been to other raw food restaurants around that I think are better. That being said, you know, this place, it's definitely solid, you know. I mean, the cheeseburger, definitely solid. I'd come back for the cheeseburger. I don't know that I'd come back and get the pizza again. But, you know, overall it's good, and I'm glad they're here serving this community. Another thing that's amazing is that this raw food restaurant has been in business for 8 years. So that alone should tell you guys something about this place. I mean, if it's good enough to stay here for 8 years, because most raw food restaurants close within a year or two, you know, that tells you that the food has to be good, and the locals are coming in regularly and are patronizing this place so that it can keep open. In addition, I met the owner, Raoul, which actually I think I'm going to interview him in a second. Really nice guy. He's like a father figure guy that, like, you know, just tries to like educate and teach people. He gives talks at local, you know, colleges, and holds classes on how to like make the raw foods that he, you know, makes here, which I think is wonderful, right? And there needs to be more just raw food restaurants around so that people could go and experience what it is. And, you know, this is a good solid restaurant that for most people would be amazing, and you'd feel great after eating it. Another thing that I want to mention is that, you know, aside from when we judge food, we judge on how it tastes. That's only one aspect on how a food is, in my opinion. You know, one big factor that I want you guys to pay attention to is how you feel the next day after eating the food. So I won't know that until tomorrow when I wake up in the morning. Lately, like at the last raw food restaurant I ate at Wild Living Foods in LA, like I felt fine afterwards, you know. And we'll have to see how I feel after, you know, I wake up tomorrow. I guess with that, I'm gonna go ahead and give my overall rating. I rate places from 0 to 5 apples. You know, I don't think I've ever given a 5. I gave a 4.5 actually at the last place I visited. I think I'm gonna give this place like a good solid 3. I mean, that's above average for sure. I mean, it's a good solid food here, but like this food just like really didn't do it for me personally. Not to say that it's bad or anything, but just like based on what I've had and other places I've been to, I just didn't maybe think it was the best stuff of all the different places I've had. But you know what? If I'm in town, I'm definitely gonna come here and get a cheeseburger, and I'll probably bring like my own salad to go to eat with the cheeseburger instead of getting 2 entrees. Both entrees that I had, sans salad, so without salad, were $12.50 each, so I spent like around $25 plus tax and tip or whatever. You know, not too bad. For the amount of food I got, you know, it is a little food for, you know, a good chunk of change, but, you know, they serve all the organic produce that they also have available here for you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much my review in a nutshell. You know, if you have never eaten at a raw food restaurant before, never eaten a vegan place before, I would definitely encourage you guys to come out, because it's a new experience, and I'm sure, you know, you're gonna like the food, because, you know, this is based on my taste buds, what I'm used to, and this is just a little bit maybe, you know, too dense for me, because I like harvesting things right out of my garden. That's how I compare things to like what I would eat at home if I was home, and if we had a pizza at home, it'd be a lot fresher, more vibrant, and you know, better stuff. And that's just what it is, you know. So with that, I think the next thing I like to do before my battery runs out of my camera, I would like to interview the owner, Raoul, of the restaurant, learn why he started the restaurant, and maybe ask him a few questions about his place here, so you'll know when you come. So now I'm here with Raoul, the owner of the Green Wave Cafe, and also he's a dedicated raw foodist, also into it for 15 years, that actually got into it because he had cancer. And that's why he started this restaurant. So Raoul, let's learn more about this restaurant and your story and how it came about. So why did you start this restaurant?
Well, we've been here 8 years, and the story starts back 15 years ago when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. At the same time, I had heart disease and I was obese. Wow. I weighed about 70 pounds more than I weigh now. The obesity was no problem for me. The heart disease was not a big deal. But talking to doctors, especially my primary physician, and then he referred me to a urologist, if I did not do what they wanted me to do, was, you know, they were talking about radiation. He was talking about maybe, you know, taking the prostate out, maybe doing some chemo. I was going to die. And when I refused all their treatments, I said, no, I'm walking away from this. I'd rather die at this point than let you guys emasculate me. I had one doctor actually spitting in my face, yelling at me, saying, do you want to die? And I said, no, I don't want to die, but I don't want you to, you know, to kill me, to emasculate me, to butcher me up. No, I'm leaving. So I left, and I didn't want to die. So I was talking to my daughter, who does a lot of research, and she found out about raw food, and I ended up going to Hippocrates for 9 weeks, and I became a health educator. And that was the beginning of my journey into raw food. What I found out is that raw food itself does not heal you. What it does is it allows your body to heal. Because when you're eating raw food, you've stopped the sabotage, which is what I was doing my whole life. Every night I'd barbecue a steak on a grill. I sit there drinking a beer while I'm barbecuing. I loved French bread. I loved Haagen-Dazs chocolate chip. That's why I was 70 pounds more than I weigh now. And it was killing me. It was literally killing me. By going plant-based, raw, organic, 99% of the stuff that was giving me the cancer was eliminated. And now my body's immune system was kicked in. It's like Michael Anderson says in the movie Eating, the cure for cancer has been around for millions of years. It's called the immune system. Yeah. That's what he says, and it's true. I was my own scientific experiment. I was going to experiment on myself. If the experiment failed, I was going to die. If the experiment was a success, which it was, I'm still here 15 years later, healthier than ever, no more prostate cancer, no more heart disease, cholesterol from 240, even higher at that time, has been consistently 119 for years. Every time I've had it checked, 119. My blood pressure, which used to be high, is some ridiculous number like 116 over 68. I'm stronger and more energized than I've ever been in my whole life, and I'm 67 years old. It's just amazing what the raw food lifestyle will do for you. It's why I tell people I'm on the gorilla diet. It's almost like what I would do if I was a monkey in the jungle. I'd be eating everything raw, off of a plant, off of a tree, and my body's just energized. I mean, if you look at animals in the wild, have you ever seen an obese animal in a nature film? No. They're perfect. They're full of muscle and energy. They're climbing trees. They're chasing after each other because the food they're eating is alive. It's full of nutrients. It's full of protein in the amino acid form. The enzymes are metabolizing the food and allowing you to utilize it. It's getting rid of all the waste. That's how we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be a sick species like we are, and like any animal that we domesticate and we bring into our home, they're not eating what they're supposed to eat. Cats are true carnivores. They're eating stuff out of a can that's been cooked. We're giving dogs whatever's inside of those 25-pound bags of dry pellet. That doesn't exist in nature. What happens to our pets? They end up with cancer. they end up obese, they end up with tumors, they get the same diseases we get. You don't need a $1 trillion scientific experiment to figure this out. It's obvious, it's staring us right in the face, and we just have to look at it and say, hey, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to eat our food in its natural state.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. We want to eat our food as natural as possible and focus on the fruits and vegetables. It's just not about raw foods to me. The real focus of raw food should be fruits and vegetables and sprouts and microgreens. So, Raoul, tell me more about, since you got into raw foods, we're so motivated about this, and then I guess evidently you healed your cancer, and then you were excited and you started this restaurant to serve people in the area so they could get the benefits you got from healing your cancer, and you could help people with their healing journey by having a restaurant.
This is true. We've been here 8 years, and in that 8-year period, we've had hundreds of people walk in and out of here. I've heard amazing stories from people that have been raw 30 years. They look incredible. They've all healed from one thing or another. I've had people come in here, and I've talked to them, people with diabetes, people with thyroid issues, people with cancer. The ones that have actually, I'm not going to say paid attention to me, but something has clicked when I've told them about raw food. They've done amazing. I could tell you about that man that came in here maybe 4.5 years ago, Ronnie Bill's Pools. He came in here complaining one night that he had been injecting insulin 2 times a day in his stomach, and that he hated it, but he had to do it for the rest of his life. And I'm thinking, no, you don't. Gabriel Cousens wrote a book on it and made a movie called Simply Raw, Curing Diabetes in 30 Days. And I told him about it. We had maybe a 20-minute conversation. This man leaves the restaurant, and something clicked. Something that either that I said or he did some research about Gabriel Cousens. He decided, hey, what the hell? I'm going to go raw. He comes in here 5 weeks later. The man is hugging me, telling me I saved his life. He says, my blood sugar is normal, and I haven't had an insulin shot in weeks. Recently, this man plays golf. He's playing golf with a bunch of doctors. And he tells the doctors, hey, I used to be a diabetic. I'm not a diabetic anymore. And he says they laughed and smirked at him. They said, look, once you're a diabetic, you're always going to be a diabetic. He says, I haven't had an insulin shot in years. My blood sugar is normal. I still test it. And the doctor says, wait a minute. What do you eat? He says, I eat raw. I eat everything in its natural state, plant-based. I'm vegan. The doctor says, that's why you don't need insulin. Why don't you try eating normal food and see what happens? And when he told me that, I'm thinking, this came out of a doctor's mouth. That's incredible that they would even think to say something like that. They should have been congratulating this man. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's just, the way of the world is messed up, man. We think like normal food is McDonald's and all this stuff, and then you need to have insulin and you can never get rid of your diabetes. And I've met people personally that have healed their type 2 diabetes. That's really easy to get out from under. Like even if you just don't do anything else but just water fast at a medically supervised water fasting place, diabetes type 2 really easy to kick. And that's one of the reasons why I make these videos, to motivate you guys, to let you guys know. And I want that thing to just click in your head. Maybe one of my videos, will just click one day and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to go for it. So I know, Raoul, you do a lot of education with classes here to teach people how to make the food at different universities. Like, what's your main message that you really like to, spread out to people and share with people?
What I really tell people is my story, my experience, what I've seen, and I've done a lot of my own personal research. What I found is there's a difference between vegan cooked and vegan raw, because I've done them both. There's no comparison to vegan raw. It's the right food for the human body, and your body thrives. Your energy level goes up. You never get sick. Your mind clears up because you're not eating any gluten, you're not eating any cooked foods. You don't have to worry about weight gain or weight loss. Strength-wise, you're actually stronger, and recovery time, if you're working out in the gym, you're weightlifting, it used to be days recovery time from an intense workout. Now it's 0 or it's a few hours and you're fine again, because we're just like animals in the wild. We're running around exercising all day long, and that's the natural thing for us, and we're eating what we're supposed to eat.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, I mean, the food at the restaurant here definitely was good, and I want to thank you for having the restaurant here, because I mean, I think there should be more raw vegan restaurants like just throughout the nation, so that anybody in any city could come to one and eat dinner, eat lunch, eat breakfast, eat whenever they want, and eat healthy food, because there's so many restaurants serving bad food, the incorrect food, the food that's causing people to get sick. So Raoul, if somebody came here, like what are maybe the top 3 entrees that people really love, that you get a lot of feedback on, that they may want to try?
Well, the number one thing that we sell the most of are our cheeseburgers. Yeah. The pate is walnuts, almonds, sunflower seeds. It's on onion bread, which is 36 hours to dehydrate. The cheese is actually a cashew red pepper cheese, and it comes with lettuce, tomato. We have marinated mushrooms on top. We can put caramelized onions, which are basically caramelized with organic dates, medjool dates from Israel. They're dehydrated, and they turn into the most delicious caramelized onion you've ever had. That's our number one dish. We have a lot of specials. I personally have to taste everything, and if it's not a wow, I don't have it on my menu. We have burritos, which people love. Right now, the pesto lasagna seems to be the number one hit. It's a special right now, but I'm going to have to put it on the menu because people love it. Our pizza is, I think it's really good pizza. I'm sure there's better pizzas out there, but I think our pizza is on top.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people haven't had the experience that I have had to travel around and visit a whole bunch of different raw food restaurants. And, you know, I want to say this, that if you live here in South Florida, you're lucky and blessed to have the Green Wave Cafe here, so you guys could eat healthy food anytime you want without having to like slave in the kitchen. Because you know what? I'll tell you, I don't even dehydrate all this stuff. They got like 4 dehydrators running back in the back to make all the different crackers and all the different breads and all this kind of stuff. And like, that just takes too much time. I might do it like once a month to make dehydrated stuff. I just eat fresh because I just find it a lot easier. But you know, it's definitely fun to eat out sometimes. So Raoul, let's learn more about like, I know besides just having the cafe where somebody could sit down and eat, you also actually provide like organic food, produce for people in the area, and also have like a to-go meal package. Like, tell my people more about that.
Well, what we do is every Monday we get a truck deliver about $3,000 worth of organic food from Albert's Organics out of Sarasota, Florida. And so we have a market here, like a farmer's market on Monday mornings. We open the door at 8. Normally we open at 11:30 in the morning, and people just come in here and get all their organic produce. Then we have 2 coolers right over there where we keep the food, and people can buy organic produce all week long. We have what we call meal plans, where people can order either a 3-day meal plan or a 5-day meal plan. We prepare the raw food, but we prepare it disassembled, because since the breads, let's say, are dehydrated, any humidity, after a few hours, it goes back to its natural state. So we wrap them individual. When you go home and you're ready to eat it, you just assemble it, and it's just as fresh as we have just made it.
Cool, yeah, so that makes it really easy and convenient for you guys that like work or are too busy to prepare raw foods and all this stuff. I mean, I would just say, pick up an apple, pick up an orange, you know, pick up some avocado and some lettuce and just eat it. You know, raw foods is not that difficult. You don't need a raw food restaurant like this in your backyard to be successful. You know, although it can make it fun and interesting, especially if you're new into raw foods. You know, having some of those flavors that you're used to when you're used to eating burgers and pizzas and all this stuff definitely makes it more sustainable. And, you know, especially in the younger years when I first got into this, you know, some of the different recipes that I made really helped keep me on the track. So Raoul, is there any other comments or words you'd like to share with my viewers today, words of wisdom?
I would just say, get healthy and let something click, and let you realize that this is the right fuel for the machine. Yeah. And that's really what we are. We're just an organic machine. Just people know more about their cars than they do about the machine. Try it. What do you have to lose? It's like Ron said, what do I have to lose? I'll go raw for a couple of weeks, see what happens. The man's been off insulin for years because it clicked.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, what do you have to lose, really? Just try this. Try this for 7 days. You know, one of the things I like to recommend for everybody is juicing. I mean, just if you started juicing for breakfast and just started drinking fresh vegetable juices instead of eating breakfast, that's a huge improvement. But then maybe you want to take the next lunch meal raw too and eat only a cooked meal for dinner, or just take that raw too and do that for a week, for 20 days, you know, you will start feeling different. You know, your brain fog will start to clear up. You know, you're gonna have more energy, you're gonna sleep better at night, and you're just gonna have a greater level of health. And you know, and I'm glad that I'm here to be able to make these videos, and I'm glad that Raoul's here, and we're all doing our part to make the world a better place. And that's what it really is going to take, because you know, our leaders in charge are not telling us to eat a raw food diet, right? They're still worried and dickering about all kinds of other crazy stuff, right? So you guys need to take your own responsibility into your hands and, you know, take action on it. Eat plant-based and eat fruit and vegetable-dominated diet. So Raoul, if somebody wants to come to your cafe and get a hold of you guys, where is it located, and how can somebody get a hold of you guys?
Well, we're next to Fort Lauderdale here in Florida. We're in Plantation. The address is 5221 West Broward Boulevard. We're exactly 3 miles from the intersection of I-95 and Broward Boulevard, which is basically downtown Fort Lauderdale. We're just west of that, 3 miles. You go underneath the only overpass on Broward Boulevard, which is the Florida Turnpike, and you make a right turn. Here we are.
Cool. And do you have a phone number and website?
Our website is greenwavecafe.org, and our phone number is 954-581-8377.
Awesome. Thank you, Raoul. Yeah, I mean, definitely had a fun time here tonight, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this restaurant review, and especially the interview with Raoul, which in my opinion is even better than just my restaurant review, because it really kind of gives you some information and hopefully just planted a seed in your head that may germinate sooner or later. And that's all that I want. You know, I just want the nation to eat healthier, eat more fruits and vegetables, eat more raw foods, and you know, we could all feel the benefit and hopefully share this amongst each other. And one day we'll have a world full of raw foodists and people that are more conscious, you know, which is gonna make the world a better place. So in any case, if you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I'll do more raw food restaurant reviews. Also be sure to share this with somebody that lives in the South Florida area so they could come out and eat at this amazing restaurant. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any of my new and upcoming episodes. I'm coming out about every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'm gonna show up or what kind of episode you're gonna learn about raw foods or a new restaurant review or who knows what I'm gonna do. And also be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 450 videos on this channel now, teaching you guys all aspects about a raw foods diet so you guys could eat it as healthy as possible. So once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best. This is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. I'm here all the way in Katy, Texas. It's outside Houston, if you don't know where Katy's at. And the reason why I'm here today is because I'm going to do a raw food restaurant